back. Let's look back just a little bit because it's been that kind of a year. So much to take stock of. As we report on the latest in tech news, we're going to delve into some of the biggest tech trends for 2024 with our professional gamer and tech enthusiast, Grant Hinds, from the ongoing debate between subscription models, which I'm really interested to delve into, one-time purchases to the pervasive integration of AI across devices. Is it really something to be that scared of? Well, Grant is going to provide some insights into how these technologies are shaping our lives right now. I want to say the future, but the future's kind of happening in the next millisecond, every millisecond now, it feels like, man.
I think 2024 has been a tipping point for a lot of technologies, and we're going to turn back to this year, and we're going to remember a lot of...
Like the internet. It's going to be like one of those where you're like, wow, that's when that began.
Yeah, but even the nature of the internet, one of the things that I was going to talk about, which we may touch on a little bit later, is how we want to go back to more decentralized platforms like Blue Sky. We're moving away from these corporates that are trying to take over social media and our conversation and going, hey, wait, that's our conversation. Don't have access to. Or training AI. I got notifications from YouTube this week, literally saying I can opt in or out of having my content train AI, which is wild because the default is that it's going to train AI. Like, I mean, that's,
for
to me, that is the expectation, unfortunately.
Let's start with like a bigger picture plug-in point here. The subscription model speaks volumes about how we are engaging with our tech at the moment.
I think subscription models came into popularity when apps started coming into play, and we didn't want to spend, thousands of rands for a piece of software. We wanted to pay a little bit, maybe like 100 rand a month to have access to, very high-end software. When I was studying like creative work, I think Photoshop cost us like 40 grand.
Wow.
I
remember. Yeah, whenever you set up a production company, that was always like, oh, okay, we're going to need a Mac and we're going to need to buy Pro Tools or something.
So it became
60,
very popular
70
to have these subscription models where you could get like 1,000 rand a month, would get you a creative suite. But I think everybody at home is feeling it at the moment. There are all these streaming services and apps and software bundles that we're all paying for every month. And if you look at your statement at the end of the month, what percentage of that are subscriptions to services of products you never own, right?
How many of your 7-day trials have tipped over to 700 rand a year kind of things? Where is this going? Are we going to disconnect? Are companies, because it kind of feels like they're jumping on the bandwagon now as opposed to meeting a demand from the market? So
it's happening first in the creative sphere. I think we're going to be moving more into a payment option. So like you buy it to keep an app for forever, which I think is great. It'll be a version thing. DaVinci Resolve was kind of one that did that first, but the big player this year was Canva, and these companies that bought all these Photoshop competitors. And I think that's the most hectic space where subscriptions are. And they said you can pay once off, very inexpensively, basically a once-off month subscription, and you can own the software. And everyone's gone like, hey, if they can do it,
exactly,
we should be able to do it for other things too. So I think that's going to be a big trend next year. We're going to see a lot of companies, a lot of new services, because I think that's where the players are going to come.
And it can't all just be channeled through Google. There needs to be...
Exactly. And going like, here's a piece of software that's a once-off price.
Okay, so as people go and check through their subscriptions and start, leaning out
Please do that. Actually,
maybe just
that's a New Year's resolution. You should start now.
What else jumps off the page when you look back over 2020?
So wearables. I know we've had wearables for a very long time, and there's been hit or miss, but this year was the year of the Vision Pro, right? Apple released their big one, but I don't think there was huge adoption, but it was a huge spark. And Samsung released their watch, their ring.
Their ring.
So I think at what's going to be happening next year is that a lot of the technology that we used to use on our phones are going to be transferred over to glasses and rings and other forms of wearables.
Like that, sure.
Because I think a lot of people are kind of getting fed up with their phones. We want to spend less time with the phones and more time with
reality. There's been a massive pushback to screen time, dude. Massive pushback.
And I think that we still want the convenience of having your fitness data and all the sleep data.
To be able to pay all those things.
I was tracking my snoring the other day, and that was huge. I had an operation on my face this year, and having an app to track my snoring has been very helpful. But you want all that stuff, but not necessarily have like a screen with you. It's pulling me away from my family.
I love that. And there has been I think to circle back as an overall trend I've seen from the parenting space, as much focus on you as a parent disconnecting from your screen as is there.
You've got to lead by example.
Yeah, completely. And kind of taking that out of younger generations' hands, just like we need to take guns out of young people's hands who are not old enough to use them. Major tech trends, things that have gotten your interest, maybe changed your workflow, had a massive impact on you. We'd love to hear from you. You can hit us up on the socials. We're going to continue talking about some of the biggest tech trends that have really blown his mind for 2024, because I think it paints a bit of a picture as to where we're going in 2025.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue with some of the biggest trends for 2024 with our professional gamer and tech expert, Grant Hinds. I suppose we could have had only one conversation when it comes to the space, and that's around AI.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, but it's been everywhere. You mentioned kind of computer programs like Pro Tools and things like that. Surely these things, anything with kind of big computing power has been kind of in that space for a... What's shifted?
So corporations need something new to sell.
There we go.
We've had AI all the time, but I think the biggest... It's kind of a good thing because it's alerted people to what's actually happening. So AI models need to be trained into something. The thing that's kind of like been the magic trick has been large language models, right? It's made people think that AI is more human or more engaging because you engage with it with a natural language.
Yeah.
We used to engage with through a keyboard and just typing like search engines. But even the way we engage with technology is going to change to more natural language.
Will
things.
search engines last 2025?
Kind of. There's an AI search engine called Perplexity, which is probably it's kind of beating Google now. So we'll see. The problem is that we've all worked out that AI is training itself on everything that we've put out into the internet over the past like 40 years, which is a bad thing because there's a lot of copyright ownership over a lot of the stuff that we've made.
People's faces, for instance.
Yeah, copyright for creative books, that kind of thing. And having a large language model that's there to convince you that it's real leads to a lot of erroneous information. And we're already living in an era of erroneous information.
Clickbait.
I was really hoping 2024 would have been a year where we focused on that, making sure that the information we got was authentic and real.
Because it's kind of getting to the point now where you just mistrust everything. You just kind of, that's your jumping off point, is that this is probably clickbait or probably cooked up to get me to read it, and that's it.
And the processing power required to do a lot of the tasks that AI needs to do now is huge. They're huge. Corporations are buying like their own energy data centers, like so they can create their own energy to support their data centers, which is not a direction we want to go. Like we should be going the other way.
Yeah, completely. So let's look at it from maybe the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we know that now we are it's getting real. So we're starting to deal with a lot of the growing pains that you would anticipate now that we've fully embraced this technology. What's good about AI? What are you loving when you think about the advancements? If we apply it to medicine, for instance, or science, testing materials to come up with clean energy, those sorts of things. Wow.
I think this year's a tipping point again. It's one of those flashpoints in history. We need to, we've let the toothpaste out the tube. It's going to be really hard to put it back in. And we need to start steering this wild Mustang that we've released in the right direction. We've got to get it into the way we want to do it. So I think that's been the good thing, has been worked out. Okay, cool. We have a potentially very powerful tool, but how do we make sure the information we get from it is accurate? How do we make sure that we are generating clean energy to use it?
That it doesn't turn into an atomic bomb. Yeah.
And then what information are we training? Like the training models for health are awesome. Like being able to simulate, I mean, we've been able to do this in games for a long time, but simulate another COVID, for instance. Like, what would that do for us? We need
how best to respond,
we need data to do that, and we've gone through a pandemic recently where we've recorded a lot of data. So how can we use that to prevent another one, right? And then also develop medicines to cure things like viruses, which we haven't managed to cure like up until this point. So there's a lot of hope, but again, it's this wild Mustang, and it's in the hands of people that just want to make a ton of money instead of us going like, let's take the reins and push it.
Or just want to kill it, like Elon Musk apparently wants to just kind of balance.
Well, he's made grok, so he's a culprit in the same thing. He's got his own AI services.
So what do we have to do to protect ourselves or to guide ourselves, maybe empower ourselves?
Legislation. we need governments to get on board with understanding this is happening rapidly. Unfortunately, corporations move so fast, and they have lawyers that are designed to circumvent.
They have more money than countries do.
Right, and they pay off a lot of politicians. But we need governments to step in and go like, wait, like our people are important, the things that they make are important, and we can't afford having this entity become, people are trading on Wall Street and they don't know what algorithms they're using to trade with, right? People in the States are getting put into prison with algorithms that are there to determine whether they'll be repeat offenders or not. And because it's proprietary corporate information, we don't know what the algorithm
it's based
is.
on models that are possibly
And soon we're going to be denied home loans because of AIs and so on. We need to take these reins and go like, wait, we need to know what they are and get government involved and go like, we need legislation protecting us. We need to understand, we need to know what those algorithms are, and we need to educate ourselves on how they work and our children, because these are tools that aren't going to go away.
Completely, and especially in a country that's re-examining its own health system, re-examining the way that the role that energy can play, what that means for ownership within communities. I love it. I know a lot to be wary of, but also a lot to get excited about. I reckon all bets are off for 2025. Is he even real? He's an AI-generated hologram. How could anyone be that good looking, man?
Could be. Who knows?
Love this guy. You can let us know if there are any trends that you've been tracking, something that you find really interesting, maybe something that makes you feel a little bit nervous. Let us know. We'd love to do a deep dive. Grant, as always, dude, I won't see you probably for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy a happy Christmas.
Thank you so much, man. Love this guy. You can let us know if there's any tech that's trending in your world.